This video is going to cover all the features you can find in the Facilitator dashboard. It's worth noting that each exercise has a unique set of features, each exercise is different, so make sure to read the help guide so you can gather an understanding of this exercise's own unique set of features, permissions, storyline, and much more. So first of all, I want to dive into the help guide. It's really important to spend a good 5 or 10 minutes reading through this information so you can get an understanding about what the exercise is about. Do you need any prior experience before running the exercise? It's going to give you information about the storyline, how to organize your workspace and navigate around the Facilitator dashboard. It's also going to give you information on the player registration type for this exercise and how you can start your exercise. So to manage positions, you're going to need to navigate to the Teams section on your Facilitator dashboard and click on Manage Positions. You'll see a series of positions that can be assigned, and to assign them, all I need to do is drag and drop them. So if I had some more players here, I can just drag and drop the same way I just did. It's worth noting that positions are unique. They have unique designations, meaning at the moment, player 3 holds the adjudicator position. No one else can now hold that adjudicator position, but players can hold multiple positions if you wish. And once you've finished assigning your positions, you can go ahead and save the changes. To find out more about the unique positions for this particular exercise, please make sure to refer to the help guide for more information. Now I'm going to go through how you can upload teams to your exercise. So on the Teams section on your Facilitator dashboard, I can click on Manage Teams and Upload Teams. In the bottom left hand corner, I can click on Get Template, and this is going to download a CSV file template. And it's this area here where I can fill out my teams or my different participants. So I'm going to go and create a basic level of participants for this exercise and be back shortly. So I've added some participants to the teams table. I'm now going to save this and upload it to my Facilitator dashboard. So I'm back at my Facilitator dashboard. I can now use this magnifying glass in the center to search my files for the template which I've customized, open it up. It will give me a preview of the participants or my teams, and I can upload and replace. So any existing teams will actually be replaced by the new upload, or if there's no teams there, it will just upload the new teams. So now I can see that my participants which I've uploaded are here in the teams table. At the moment, all 4 of my participants are offline. Now when they do log in, this will be represented by a green dot and the word online, so I can see that player 6 has that green dot saying online. So it's worth checking before you start your exercise that all of your participants have that green dot to notify you that everyone's logged into the exercise. So now I'm going to go through how to assign special permissions to your participants. So in the team section of your Facilitator dashboard, I'm going to click on Special Permissions. Now a special permission is essentially an extra capability given to a player by a facilitator. So in terms of what each of these are, that's available in our help docs, but I'll give you an example. So for example, if I wanted to assign the spoof social engagement special permission, I simply drag and drop it. It's the same as managing positions, it's that same functionality of dragging and dropping. I can click Save Changes, and now in my player view, now I've got that special permission, I can actually edit, using this pencil icon, I can edit the likes, retweets, and comments on social media. And just as an example, I could assign one participant I could give them multiple special permissions. And these same special permissions can then also be assigned to other participants, so they do not have unique designations like positions do. So now I'm going to talk about how to start, test, and reset your exercise. And all of this is going to happen over on this right-hand view here called the MEL. Now the MEL, or the MEL, actually stands for Master Events List. Now, what you should see is a series of circles moving down your screen. Each circle represents an inject or a piece of content, and each circle, or each inject has a label or a title describing what that inject is. So it allows me as a facilitator to see which injects are coming through and which injects have passed. Now, at the very bottom, there's a blue button, and if I click this, that's going to start my exercise. Participants are now going to start to receive content. I've got a pause button, so I can control the pace of the exercise. If anyone's got any questions, I can then play to resume the content. There's also a timer, so at the moment I can see that there's 3 minutes and 23 seconds until my next inject. If I feel like maybe this is too much time before the next inject, I can always use the skip button on the right hand side to skip to that next inject, and now I can see I've received a few more injects. I've got 1 minute 53 seconds until the next inject comes through. Now it's important to potentially dry run this and run through this master events list before you actually commence a real exercise. And then what I can do in the top right hand corner is reset my exercise, which will reset the data and reset my master events list back to the beginning. And now I'm ready to start my exercise all over again. So now I'm going to talk about how you can share the player link to the participants. Now in your Facilitator dashboard, next to the review tab, you should see a document icon where my cursor is, and this, if you click on this, will take you to the scenario setup page. Now obviously we've got information on here such as goals and objectives, participants, environment, assumptions. It gives me as a facilitator an overview of this exercise and what's involved. On the left hand side here, I can actually see what is the registration type for this exercise, but more importantly, I have access to the player login link. Just here, I would copy this link and send it to the participants so they can access the exercise. So now we're going to dive into persona management, and persona management can be found right at the top here. By clicking on content and personas, we can open up our persona management section. Now what I'm going to do is over on the right hand side here, I'm going to collapse this master events list down so I can have a more expanded view of my persona management using these 3 arrows here. So the persona management area allows you to have visibility of all the personas inside of this exercise. It allows you to edit existing persona details. So for example, if I click on one of these personas, I can actually now edit the location. I can also edit their social media profiles, such as their name, their bio, their images, the followers, and it's the same for all social medias. I can also search for certain personas and filter this search by faction, affiliation, A3E, disposition. So it's just important to know you can search for personas and you can modify persona details. And although you may not do this in your exercise, it's just worth noting you have that flexibility if you wish. Moving on, we're now going to talk about pattern of life. And pattern of life is located at the top here of your facilitator dashboard under POL. Now, pattern of life is an additional way to send content on demand. It's a more flexible way to send content. So you'll notice that on my right hand side, I've actually got my master events list, which is running currently. And what I actually can do is run pattern of life content over the top of that. It's kind of like an overlayer. So if I zoom in here, we can get a bit of a closer look. Each button is something we call a stack, and within each stack is a series of content or different injects. Now, the second number where it says out of 30 for business as usual, out of 16 for public notice, out of 19 for customer reactions, signifies the number of injects within that stack. And that very first number, 4 seconds, 20 seconds, etc., is actually the timing between each inject, which we can change with using this red dot. So if I was to set business as usual at 6 seconds, and if I zoom out, I can click on the stack to start it. And every 6 seconds now, there's going to be a new inject that comes through, which is related to business as usual. And it will work the same for customer reactions. I can change the frequency. One of the reasons you may want to change the frequency of these injects is actually to either decrease or increase the pressure on the participants. And with Pattern of Life, it's as simple as clicking on a stack to start it. So I'm actually going to start multiple stacks here. And when I want to stop the content, I click on them again to stop the content, or I could stop all at the top here. And one of the things I have to think about as a facilitator is if I've assigned myself that adjudicator or facilitator position, if I go back to my teams list, I can double check this. Yes, I've got the adjudicator position. And that means I may receive notifications such as this one, start Pattern of Life, business as usual, notifying me to start certain Pattern of Lives at a point in the exercise. And this is because the way this exercise has been created, there's certain points in time which are appropriate for these Pattern of Life content to come through. Okay, so now we're going to dive into monitoring live interactions in the exercise. On my review tab at the top of my Facilitator dashboard, I can then click onto Review again under the Evaluate section. And you should be taken to a player's activity page. And this is where you can monitor everything going on in the exercise. It allows you to see, as a facilitator, who's engaging, who's not. And using this player activity tab, I can monitor all these different messages that participants are sending in the exercise. I can see who they're going from, and I can also see who they're going to. I can see what time this message was sent, and I can also see aspects like what the participants are liking, commenting, sharing on social media. It really allows me as a facilitator to have a broad overview of the player activity in the exercise. And just next door, I can dive into the data points section where I can monitor all decisions for participants, all of the decisions which participants have made in the exercise. And I can monitor this by looking at all teams, or I can dive into different teams and look at individual decisions. And finally, I'm going to dive into how you can extract and download data reports from your exercise. So at the top of your Facilitator dashboard, I'm going to click on Review, and we have 3 reports we can download. Now, our help docs actually describe what these reports are in a little bit more detail, but I'll run through them all quickly now. So report data is all messaging activity in the exercise. Engagement data is all social media engagement. Both of these are exported into a CSV file, and our exercise report is a sophisticated after-action review which contains pie charts, all of the decisions, bar charts, so decisions which participants have made, and any observations that your observers have made during the exercise. And this is a Word document. So in this video, you learn all it takes to run a successful exercise. We wish you a great session, and remember, to find all details regarding this particular exercise, please refer to the help guide.